Okay, welcome back. And today we're just going to be going through Reddit. Am I the asshole threads once again? So he just went out on a date with his girlfriend last night and she tore him a new a-hole. It was the first time meeting her parents since they live in another city. They went out to a fancy restaurant and he burped all the way through supper. No. He came home almost in tears from her chewing him out for behaving like a jackass in front of her family. I heard him telling my wife about it and I laughed. She asked what was so funny and I reminded them both that I had tried dozens, if not hundreds of times to teach him table manners and he rejected them and she protected him. I said that now he is a grown man and he had to learn the hard way. They both think she overreacted and that I'm the asshole for being amused by his experience. See, but here's the thing. It's really funny when you have a mom who loves their child endearingly to a point where it prevents them from actually being able to grow as an individual. Like, we should always love and accept our children for who they are, but it is our responsibility to mold them into the human being that they are going to be presented out into the world. Because when your child is a butthead, that's not always just the child's behavior, it's also the parent's parenting. So if you have asshole children, maybe you're asshole parents. I don't know. That it's a little funny that, you're going to have the wife going, "What's so funny?" when the joke is right there in front of her. He's having a hard time because you were too easy on him as a child. And now look, his girlfriend's doing the work that you should have been doing. And that's the problem with the bad behaviors that they have as children. It's always somebody else's responsibility down the line eventually to teach those kids those lessons anyway. So why not just nip it in the butt, cut the wheat from the chaff, get it taken care of while they're young so that they're not butting heads with people their whole lives. Because I'm sure that his girlfriend's parents are looking at y'all, the parents of the boy, like, you guys raised him in a barn. They're probably never going to feel comfortable letting their daughter over to your house. It's has nothing to do with you as individuals. It's your son made you look bad. And yeah. Well, I don't think that the dad in this one is the asshole. The son is, and I think the mom definitely needs to let the father have some control when it comes to raising the kids to have proper manners and want to be nice to your kids and you want them to have a good relationship with you as parents. Fine line between being a good parent and parenting your kids and rearing them. We already have enough friends growing up. We don't need our parents to be friends too. We need our parents to be parents. And I think a lot of people who have children want to be their kids' friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it prohibits you from being able to go, okay, this is a moment where I need to step in and really put my foot down with my child and let them know where the boundaries are, where the rules are at. If you're too friendly with your kids, they tend to try and push your boundaries a bit more when it comes to parenting. And if you really value your friendship with your child, you might even let them continue to press those boundaries. And I don't know, it's a disservice to the child in the long run, and I think this is a great example of that. Moving on. Am I the a-hole for weaponizing my sister's poverty during a family dinner? I feel like yes. I've always been ambitious and started a bakery pretty young. I was able to do it through a family loan, a lot of grit, and insane hours. The dedication led me to miss out on a lot of things. And while I'm incredibly proud to have built something that turned into a super popular spot in my neighborhood, I'm 35 and single/childless, although I have no regrets. Normally it's not a sad discussion, but this week I was sharing a bigger than normal disappointment in a recent failed date. We'd gone out a few times and I thought it would turn into something, but our schedules were incompatible. After hearing this, my sister piped up and said she wasn't surprised because I have a negative and unfeminine aura that turns away men. Okay. This is where Emily starts to get defensive. You start calling me out for character traits that you don't deem attractive. I'm not trying to date you. I didn't ask for your opinion. My parents tried to shut her up. Good job, parents. But she kept going on and on about how men would find my energy aggressive because I set too many boundaries. She ended up with saying that I should try manifesting a positive love story. And by going into relationships with negativity, I was manifesting failure. I was honestly so mad at this point that I just blurted out, well, maybe if you manifested a job, you wouldn't be fighting with Tom, her child's father, over child support payments. There's nothing wrong with that, except she's always complaining about not having nice things, i.e. she wanted a Chanel bag, and she was jealous her friend got one for her anniversary, and refuses to work. My dad offered her an admin job at his company, and she hated sitting for long hours. Okay, so what I'm reading is she is upset that you have a free life, that you get to date as many people as possible. You know, you don't have children, you have a successful business. Honestly, all of her comments really just seem like a projection of hatred of you. You know, it's like she's looking at you with that envy eye. Why does she deserve all of these things when she's ugly, when she's this, when she's that? That's what really the hate watchers do, right? She immediately started crying at the table. Of course she did. It's the people who dish it out that can't receive it the most, I swear. My parents are trying not to take sides, but have recently asked me to apologize because my sister has been making social media posts about me weaponizing her poverty and being a bully. By the way, to call herself poor is honestly a slap in the face to people actually facing poverty. She lives in a gated community in my parents' home. She refuses to come to my mom's birthday party next week if I don't say sorry. I personally feel like she deserved it. She's weaponizing your mom's birthday party, saying, if you don't apologize to me, I'm not showing up to mom. So now she's putting the parents in between. She's making the parents fight you on. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Here, I'm going to make you feel like shit. I'm going to tell you all the things that you need to fix. You're ugly. You have bad energy. You're not feminine. Oh, you bring up how I'm poor? That's it. I'm not going to mom's birthday unless you apologize to me. So, like, get over yourself. So privileged. That's so funny. Weaponizing your fucking poverty in a gated community. She doesn't even know what poor is, and especially if she's getting custody checks from her mans, who's not her mans anymore. Oh, so by the way, the boundaries my sister said that result in me manifesting negativity are things like me turning down a date 4th of July weekend because I own a bakery and it's a huge week for my business, requiring me to be all hands on deck pumping out pies and pastries. Interesting. I have to work hard at my business, so I can't go on a date. You gotta fix that if you want a man. You can't have a successful business if you want a man. It sounds like your sister is really stuck. Like, women need to be in a certain caliber and they need to stay in a certain box in order to deserve love. And I think that's a really toxic thing our society doesn't talk about enough, is because there's so many different types of women, so many types of men, there's so many different types of cultures out there, and they all vary so greatly that it doesn't make sense that if we all fit into this perfect little box and behave this perfect little way, like, then we'd all have successful marriages. You have women who are perfectly feminine, perfectly docile, they don't have crazy work schedules to go about, and they still get cheated on, they still get divorced, they still end up without marriage, they still end up without children. Like, it has nothing to do at the end of the day with you being feminine or not. Yeah. Let's see what they say in the comments. Someone said, yes, that burn was epic and deserved, honestly. Let's see. Narcissism and narcissistic traits are related, but not the same. That's fair enough. For what it's worth, clinical psychologists believe diagnosed NPD is incurable and not something those that have it will grow out of. I have an NPD in my family and feel for you and your family. The ripples are deep. Burn, I love it, not the asshole. +1 for epic burn. Damn, OP, I hope that had some soothing cream to hand out after that epic burn. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting when you have somebody who is in your family, who knows you well, they know your weaknesses, they know your strengths, and they choose to pick on you anyway. But you also know their weaknesses and their strengths, so you can pick on them back, and then they can't handle it. Definitely have been there. Definitely have been on both sides of that coin where I'm the one dishing out hurt and I receive it back and don't know how to handle it. And then, people are throwing hurt my way, intentionally or not. And, I get defensive or I just react or I just feel like it's uncalled for without having a little tissy back. I definitely love to tissy back. That's my fun. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful day. Like, comment, subscribe.